Choosing brushes can be confusing. I will make it simple, covering everything from shape, size, bristles, and brands, along with demo and real life implementation so you can see the difference. Let's start with shapes: flat, filbert, and round. These three brush shapes cover most of what you will ever need. Flat brushes have sharp edges and are great for painting architecture, buildings, and geometric objects. Depending on how you hold the brush, you can get wide variety of brush markings: broad stroke, chiseled ones using the tip of the brush, thin lines, and sharp edges when blocking in areas. Since I paint a lot of architectural landscapes, flat brushes are a perfect choice to paint structure with clarity. Almost 70 to 80% of my painting is rendered with flat brushes. Long straight strokes are much easier to pull off with a flat brush. You can also use just the tip of the brush to render smaller control strokes with precision. There is a shorter version of flats, also known as brights. They are stiffer and provide more control strokes. Next are filberts. They have a rounded tip and are great for painting organic and natural forms, like portraits, wildlife, and clouds. The curved edge gives you a softer, blended stroke without any harsh lines. You can get a variety of marks, gentle curves, tapered strokes, and smooth transitions just by adjusting the angle and pressure. They are perfect for blending colors and shaping rounded forms with a more natural and fluid feel. I don't have many filberts in my collection, but I do keep a few to render clouds or any rounded object in my painting. Last but not the least, round brushes. They have a pointed tip and are mainly used for line work and small details. These brushes can create thin to medium lines depending on the pressure you apply. They are great for detailing, adding accent and highlights, lettering, and signing your artwork. However, they don't hold as much paint as flats or filberts, and their shape can also be limiting when coverage is concerned. So I use them sparingly, most at the end stage of the painting where I add the finishing details. These are a specialized form of round brushes called liner and rigger. They have thin, long bristles which carry more paint and provide uninterrupted strokes, something a standard round brush can't do easily. You will come across other brush types like fans, daggers, and more, but you don't need them all. I stick to flats for most of my work and bring in the filberts or rounds when needed. Next, the handle lengths. There are long handles which are approx 11 inches and short ones around 7 inches. Long handles are great for early blocking stages and they encourage you to stand back and see the painting as a whole. Short ones, on the other hand, offer better control, making them ideal for fine details. Next, the bristle types. Brush hair come in two main types: natural and synthetic. Natural bristles like the hog hair hold more paint and give beautiful textures, ideally suited for thicker applications. They wear down over time but retain their shape well. Synthetic brushes are more springy and durable, but they tend to lose their shape faster and also hold a bit less amount of paint. I use a mix of both to keep variety of textures in my work. Next, the brush sizes. Brush size numbering can be a bit weird. Different brands use different measurements, and I've noticed that more expensive brushes are actually smaller for the same number. Here is an example where these two have quite similar width for the same number 4, while the Escoda here, which is a more expensive brush, has the same width but is numbered size 12. So if you're buying online, always check the actual width. Most of the brands share a size chart, always a good idea to check it. It will save you from any surprises later. Now, what size of brushes you need will depend on the size of your paintings. I usually paint on medium size canvas, which is around 16 by 20 inches. So for me, sizes 2, 4, and 6 work well most of the time. But I do have a couple of size 8s for some specific scenarios. For larger pieces, go for bigger brushes, it will speed things up for you. I also have this flat or chip brushes 2 and 1.5 inch. One I use for toning down the canvas and other one is dedicatedly for varnishing. When it comes to brands, here are a few I recommend. Starting with Rowney, it offers two solid options, Graduate and Georgian. It has some really affordable but reliable brushes, Graduate being the student lineup and Georgian is more for the professionals. These were among the first brushes I started with, and I still find myself reaching out for them every now and then. Next is Rosemary and Co. Their ivory line are my go-to brushes for each painting and a personal favorite. The craftsmanship on these is top class with the right amount of spring and bristle density. I've been using this for a couple of years now, and despite some wear in the shape from regular use, they have held up remarkably well and still maintain the bounce. I have restocked the brushes, just received the shipment this month, so I'm good for next couple of years now. The only downside is that Rosemary brushes are only available in UK, so shipping and customs can bump up the total cost a bit. Next is Princeton's Aspen. It is another high quality line which comes quite close to the Rosemary brushes. They have a very well defined shape and provides crisp edges while painting. Princeton also offers a velvet touch line and they are great soft synthetics for detailed work. Some honorable mentions, these Rublev brushes, they are mongoose imitation made up of soft synthetic bristles. Another one would be these Art Essential soft synthetics. They're also a decent option. So, how many brushes do you really need? If you are a beginner, I would suggest start with less, probably 4 or 5. Here's a great starter set: two flat brushes, sizes 2 and 4, one filbert of size 4, and a rigger or a liner brush for details. If you are already into oil painting and want to invest more in the brush inventory, I would recommend a pair of same size brushes separate for darks and lights. Personally, my set of brushes during a painting session includes two size 4 flats, which I will use to render most of the shapes and forms in the painting, two size 2 flats for the tighter areas, a short handle synthetic size 4 for gently layering over the paints, and a liner and rigger for all my finer details. I also keep a couple of size 6 and 8s nearby for covering larger areas. To wrap it up, you don't need a massive brush collection to start oil painting. A few well chosen brushes will go a long way. As your older brushes wear out, that's the perfect time to try new sizes or brands and slowly build your collection. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what's your favorite go-to brush. Thanks for watching.